It's the eve of E3 and the industry is locked and loaded for a blockbuster show. But what are the games that will win our hearts and which third parties are set to dominate the show? The bonus round has the inside guide. Who's the publisher to beat in 2008?
Activision is certainly a publisher to be watching.
And which games might be up for Game of the Show?
I really think End War has some possibilities.
Find out right now in the bonus round E3 preview. Hey everybody, welcome back to the bonus round in our special E3 preview. Starting tomorrow, we have wall-to-wall coverage on GameTrailers.com and also on Spike as we blow you away with tons of E3 coverage. And today we're going to talk about some of the biggest games that you're going to see this week in all our E3 coverage. And joining me to talk about the big third-party games is my brethren, the man who runs the multiplayer blog at MTV, in here from New York City for the first time, a rare West Coast appearance from the one and only Stephen Totilo. Stephen, great to have you here.
Great to be here, Jeff.
We also have Level Up's General Editor for Technology, Nguyen Kroll, who's rocking the Manhunt shirt as he has many times before. And finally, we have the man who retired the Eagle shirt, but he's got a new one he's going to have to retire after this episode. It's the editor of Kotaku, Brian Crecenti. All right, guys, so we are excited. E3 is a day away now. What's going to be the biggest third-party game at E3? We've got EA with Mirror's Edge. We've got Rock Band 2. We've got Fallout 3, Prince of Persia, Far Cry 2, Mad World, all these games. What's going to stand out? Let's start with you, Brian.
You know, I think that this isn't going to be a year where there's going to be one game that really stands out. I mean, I think there are a couple. I think that Far Cry 2, for some reason, I'm a hardcore PC gamer, so I really am interested in that.
Yeah, for the PC gaming alliance.
Yes, exactly. And I think that Mad World is going to be amazing. I like to see how the art style, the way it looks is just unbelievable. Fallout 3 blew me away at last E3. Yep. So I think I'm going to be pretty impressed with it this year.
Anything else, Guy, that you think is a potential, game of the show that people should be looking out for?
I'm curious about what Ubisoft is going to do with Prince of Persia.
Right.
I don't like the way they've done the design of the prince, but I do like the overall art direction. And I really think End War has some possibilities. I know Steven's been a little skeptical, but I'm not sure how big it's going to be, and I'm not saying it's going to win the show. But I do have this feeling in my gut that it's going to do for real-time strategy games on console what Halo did for shooters, in that it's going to permanently tip RTS games towards the console. I think this is the one that could break it through.
Wow. So you're nominee for Best Strategy Game at E3.
Yes, Jeff. I think it is.
Stephen, what do you think? You talk to all these third parties all the time. You're out there with your notebook taking notes on the games. Well, what are you expecting?
Well, I think that, it was a bit of last year's story. It's going to be this year's story again, is the battle of all the music games. There's a heated competition which will only make the games better, and this year it's a three-way competition at least, to say nothing of Disney's entrance.
Because Ultimate Band, right?
Right, because and Rock Revolution and Guitar Hero World Tour.
They're not.
And
they're not
2.
really competitive compared to what's happening with Guitar Hero and Rock Band 2, right?
No, I think that
is Rock Revolution really going to cross over?
No, but I think that what we're going to see is, I think that time is limited in terms of how long there can be this many different music games competing with each other, because certainly people are not going to want to buy that many drum sets and guitars, and so the moment is now for all of these publishers to sell people on their brand and their brand alone.
Seize the day with the Ultimate Music Game.
Right, and therefore have the most features announced, the most downloadable content announced, the best instruments, and that it's going to be very easy. Music games show really well at trade shows, so it's going to be very easy to go in there and try out the drums on each of these and say, what's better or worse. Compare this like PC games, which don't show well at trade shows, so Spore may be ultimately as awesome as we hoped it was going to be, but Spore isn't going to show that well, I don't think, at E3, because Spore, Far Cry 2 PC, or any other PC game that we might be excited about. It's just harder to really appreciate.
Also, I think, Spore has been at, so many E3s now, and I think it's a phenomenal game. Everyone's enjoying the, creature creator that's out there and anticipating the release on September 7th, but at the same point, it's like we've seen it. We gave it Best of Show award, many years ago. Is there a little bit of fatigue, do you think, this year, Guy, that, a lot of the games we're going to be seeing, like Little Big Planet and Killzone, and, all these games are games that we've seen at E3s before?
A little bit, in the sense that at this point what you start to want from a Little Big Planet or a Spore is you want it in your house.
Yeah.
You want to have it at home, play it, and just sort of savor the end user experience on some of those games. And I think there is a little bit of fatigue. But going back to music games for a second, I think Konami is going to have a hard time getting that game on store shelves.
I mean, you know, the like 6 pads, or I'm just like, what is that?
It's big enough, and you know that GameStop and Walmart, they have to make room.
Why would you buy that though, instead of like Guitar Hero Rock Band? Like, who's going to make that decision? Walk into a store and say like, no, I want Rock Revolution. That's my game.
Tie it into DDR so that you can dance while you're playing your instrument.
But it's just like,
That's the secret.
who's going to make that decision?
Look, it makes no sense. I agree.
Crazy
And this is why what I don't understand is what Konami should have done is ostensibly Activision will allow you to at least license the guitar for compatibility. Rock Band claims that you don't even have to do anything. You can take open standard. I don't understand why Konami didn't say, hey, and where there's a huge opportunity on those games is, I've talked to female friends of mine, even some of them who are pretty close to MTV, and they've said their major complaint about Rock Band is the music is not girl-centric enough.
Right.
Where's the No Doubt? Where's the Courtney Love? You know, where's the
Avril Lavigne.
Exactly. You know, where's that stuff? So there's an opportunity there to sort of bring out stuff that's in the vein that works with those.
With Miley Cyrus. Come on.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying
These
there's
are really your personal desires, right? Female friends close to MTV.
But so that's the thing is there's going to be a big battle between those games. I think, you know, we all agree that music games are big. It'll be interesting to see if Nintendo shows Wii Music, how that fits into it. But you're right, that's a big battle. Are there any other big battles out there? I mean, there's this shooter battle that, you know, we're seeing, certainly with some first-party games between, you know, Gears and Resistance. You mentioned Far Cry. There are other shooters that, you know, people are really excited about. I mean, there's, you know, Crisis Warhead that's coming for the PC, right?
Right.
Dead Space.
There's
Sort of.
Well, let's go through some of the companies.
Capcom, I think may have one of the best showings.
We haven't talked about Resident Evil 5, which I think is based on the, you know, I had a chance to, you know, play it. We world premiered the trailer exclusively on Spike TV and Game.
Am I gonna like it, Jack?
Yeah, how did you feel about it?
Am I gonna like it?
You're gonna, and guy, I mean, it's like you saw the zombies. They're not all black zombies, right?
That's what I saw, yeah.
That's what you saw. Did you feel that you are you going to get a credit here for design or consulting designer?
You know, the creator of the game claims that, you know, people who pointed out certain things about previous incarnations of the trailer had no impact on his creative...
Do you believe him?
Brian, should I believe him?
I wasn't there for the interview, but I think there was a change. There was a change, at least
You
in
said
the way
the
it was
Japanese
presented.
trailer and the American trailer are different.
Yeah, that was something I've been reading about, is that the Japanese trailers and the American trailers are different. I mean, I do think, at the very least, you know, because one of the complaints I had was about how the African zombies were portrayed even before they were clearly attacking the hero, that they were sort of shrouded in shadow and moving very slowly in slow motion, so they were kind of zombies before they were zombies. In this one, they show the mouths and the crazy tentacles coming out and all this stuff. So it's made very clear that these are zombies with a capital Z.
Right.
And I you know...
You would kill those zombies, right?
I have to see what I do when the control's actually in my hand.
But it's good. I think it's going to be a big game at E3, and I think Capcom, you know, between Street Fighter and Resident Evil 5, I think a really strong third-party show.
Bionic Commando, and they have unannounced stuff as well, and I hear they have a major downloadable game coming out.
Right.
Sort of bigger scale and from Japan that we haven't seen yet. So.
Well, Dark Void, the worst thing I can say about that game is the title. I thought that game was pretty fun. It's like a vertical shooter taking...
Vertical cover. I mean, it's got a ways to go, and it's a year away, but that's a game that I think Capcom seems to be, you know, making a lot of smart decisions, and I think Resident Evil 5, you know, obviously I think it's going to be, you know, playable on, you know, 360 and PS3 at the show. We'll get the, you know, chance to go hands-on with it. So that easily I think could be a, you know, a potential game of the show contender.
Where Sega's looking really weak. I mean, apart from Mad World, I mean, I thought their showing when we were out, you know, a little while ago.
But they have some games. I mean, they have the Aliens game, which we haven't seen from, you know, the guys at Gearbox, which we haven't seen yet. So they have that, and
Golden Axe.
Where's the rest of your list?
Exactly. I mean, Golden Axe was not looking impressive. The Olympics game wasn't looking interesting. I mean,
Sonic. Yeah, what was that?
Yeah. I was surprised that they're showing
Platinum
so
Games has to sort of save them there, right?
They got to carry it.
Now, what about EA?